I would say transitioning out of the military can be tough for a lot of people. You want to be a part of something bigger than yourself, because in the military, that's kind of, that's what you have, that sense of pride, and you felt like you were a part of something bigger. When you get out, you kind of hit this lull of what are you going to do that's going to be bigger than yourself. And I think here at Torc, the wanting to save lives and make the roadways safer, that's really our main goal. So I think for me, it played a huge role of filling that void of being a part of something bigger than myself. So that made the transition easier, because I was kind of searching for that from the point I got out to the point I joined Torc. So.
Good answer. Yeah. For me, transitioning out of the military, you lose a lot of self-identity, because you identify as a member, as a part of a group, and that group has a very distinct identity. So that is a bit of a loss, along with the camaraderie. But Torc also has a unified identity and a unified purpose. The military also, sometimes it motivates you because you have an impossible task and you work with the people next to you to try and achieve that task. And when you achieve it, it's incredibly fulfilling and satisfying. And Torc is in that way kind of similar, where we have what on paper is an impossible task, and a lot of people are working incredibly hard to achieve it. And it will be a glorious day if we do.
Yeah, I think, part of getting out of the military is trying to find what Tyler is speaking to a little bit. How can I use my skills I gained in the military and use them in a civilian capacity? So it's not always so cut and dry. It's like there's some leadership things that are directly transferable and those kind of things, but there's also like, hey, if I shot artillery, right? How do I translate that into a civilian type of job profession? How do I market myself with that? So I think some of the challenges of coming out of the military are going to be, how do I transfer a lot of my skills that were very applicable there, but maybe not so much in the civilian sector? I know Torc, with the safety conductor program, was kind of built around this operational model so that you could use a lot of that stuff you learned, maybe not shooting artillery per se, but a lot of those things you learn with leadership, with communication, with crew resource management, just being operationally focused with a mission that you have can help transition. At least we've helped people transition, I think, out of the military into the private sector pretty well by giving like that little stepping stone. And then it's like, I get my feet under myself, right? And I see how this works, and I see how different communication is had here. So now, I can like kind of learn and grow from that. But it's that little transitional step there, which I think is something that Torc offers.
Completely agree, because for me, when I got out, it was kind of hard to find that void being in operations in the military, because it's so different. And when I got to Torc, I was actually very surprised of how it kind of aligned. It aligned a lot to my military career, which was short of it was 4 years, but I almost felt a part of a team, and the operations ran pretty similar to the military. So I was actually surprised after joining Torc, of how well those career paths align. So I think it's almost like just taking that chance too, because you might not think it will align, but it has here, that's for sure.
Yeah, I agree, and I think in the military we often are channeled into a technical speciality, but like Kyle was saying, there's a whole lot of other skills we learn around that without even knowing it. Yeah. And that translates well to environment that is unpredictable, as this is, especially when it comes to operations and test execution. No 2 days are the same, so we tend to have to adapt at the last minute to changes that are unexpected and for which no plan exists. And that's very much like military operations. There's an old saying in the military that no plan ever survives contact with the enemy. And that's kind of, we are chasing an unknown. We don't know all the steps we need to reach before we have a commercially viable product. And so those skills translate well to Torc, I think.